All right, welcome back to another edition of the No Stopping Kev Show.
With Kevin Dev.
And on today's episode, we're going to be diving into the WNBA playoffs as well as a little bit of NBA conversation.
It's been going down.
Yeah.
It's a little crazy. If you haven't been tuned in, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, so, Dev, where do you want to start this off?
Let's talk about the Fever Aces series that is currently 2-1. At the time of recording this, Aces are up. Talk to me.
Yeah, one of the interesting things I think about the WNBA is just how competitive it is. And part of that is because teams are so concentrated because there's only 13 teams.
Right.
You know, you watch the first round of the NBA playoffs and, you know, the 1-8s are like
you
sweeps.
always get at least a sweep or a gentleman's sweep.
Yeah.
There have been no sweeps.
There's one.
Oh, the Valkyries get swept.
But
that's right, in the first round.
But that could have easily gone to a third game. That last game
it was a
super close. And so, yeah, that's one of the things I love about the WNBA is that, like, not only is the regular season, every game super competitive, because it's almost like the NFL where every game matters.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, it's even more physical and intense and competitive because these teams are scratching and clawing because there's only best of 3 series, too, in that first round.
Right.
Which,
that's where it becomes interesting.
And
best
that probably
of 3
needs to
is
change.
In and out.
Yeah.
You in and out.
Yeah, they need to make that. I think the whole thing should be best of 5 for now.
Well, I think that a lot of people have been shocked by the battle that the Fever have been putting up against the Aces.
Yeah, I'm people.
I am as well. And that's just the conversation out there, that they have been battling and stayed in the game and kind of gave the Aces a little run for their money a little bit, especially in Game 3.
Yeah, I think once you're able to kind of scout and really focus on one team, that enables teams to really focus on executing a game plan that gives them a shot at winning, even if they are the underdog. And again, the players in the W are so good that just because it's a 2-6 matchup, the gap isn't as wide as you think between those teams. And, you know, what's quite surprising, and I guess not surprising, but again, it speaks to what I'm saying. The Aces were rolling going into the playoffs. They were on like a 17 straight winning streak. And then they get to the playoffs. They experience some turbulence against the Storm. Storm forced them to a Game 3. And then, you know, a lot of people, myself included, thought it would be a sweep of the Fever. But the Fever got some fight. Lexi Hall's been balling. Aaliyah Boston's been great defensively.
Kelsey Mitchell.
And Kelsey Mitchell, who was an MVP candidate.
I know.
Has been playing really well for them.
Showing why, okay?
Yeah.
So do you think the Fever is taking the Aces out of their game, or are the Aces just not playing up to their best?
Yeah, so I think that series is what, 2-1?
It's 2-1. Aces
2-1.
up.
I'm thinking back to the last game because that's the most salient on my mind right now. Asia Wilson went like 1 for 11 in the first half. That just doesn't happen, right?
She scored in the first possession a 3-pointer and then didn't score again until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, so like that doesn't that just doesn't happen. I'm not remembering Game 2 as clearly, but I just think you know,
I think it was a blowout, right? Didn't they beat them by almost 20?
That one, hold on, I can check. Why am I acting like I don't have technology here in front of me?
I will also say while you're looking that up, just because Asia didn't contribute as much as she normally does in the scoring department, she still had 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 blocks. And then she got up to 13 points.
Yeah, and
so she came back in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, and what she's been doing on a defensive end, like when you just watch her ability to alter shots, it's really something special to watch. And I guess that's why she is Player of the Year.
Defensive Player of the Year for a reason. Another thing, Jackie Young has been able to perform super well in Indiana because she's also from Indiana. She's comfortable there. She has family there coming to the games there. She's from what, like Princeton?
Yeah, I think it said Princeton, Indiana, which is an hour or 2 outside of Indianapolis.
Yeah, so I think that she's doing a phenomenal job.
All right, I'm ready here. Woo! That was a wild goose chase. So, sorry, I was wrong. Fever won Game 1.
Yes. And the Aces blew them out in Game 2.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't remember them losing because that was in the past. Oh, yeah, that was a trap game. That was right after Asia got the MVP. That's always...
It was the first one. It was, yeah. And then you're also... You play a team that you think that like you're like, okay, we should definitely win this. You have one team going in with that mentality, another one like we need to play because like we're expected to lose. So
Yeah, and what I tell you during these playoffs, I was like, for the Fever to win, either they're gonna have to have a great game coaching wise, like they really were executing on both ends of the floor. And the other thing I was saying is Kelsey Mitchell's gonna have to have, one of those lights out nights. And in game 1 she put up 34 points, which is insane. And then also Odyssey Sims was balling. She had 17. And so they stole game 1. I don't think they'll win another. I think the Aces will close it out here today.
I think that even in the last game, just watching them, the Aces just were not playing well.
Yeah, like in game 1,
like
Asia
watching them, I was like, they're not playing well, and they still won by like, I want 7 or 8, something like that.
Yeah, and in game 1, Asia had 16 and 13, but she was 6 for 22 from the floor. Yeah. So like, I think they are doing a good job. Credit to the Fever of pushing her to some crowded areas of the floor, trying to keep her from getting to kind of her go-to moves. But I think they're gonna make some adjustments. I think game 4, and give me the Aces by double digits. Like what is the line at?
Oh my,
I'm curious. They got the Aces at -4.5. I think they're gonna cover that. They'll win 5 or more.
Okay.
I think they'll actually win by double digits, but I'm a little biased.
Okay. And by the time this comes out, I'm sure that will be out already because they play later today.
Yep.
So we'll see if Kevin was right. Moving right along to the other series that has been just as entertaining, a little bit more drama, the Lynx Mercury.
Yeah, it's been cinema.
Yeah, the Lynx were my pick for the chip this year. I said it back, I think, in the first episode that I have been on, the No Stopping Kev show. They're now on the brink of elimination. They're down 2-1 in, the best of 5 series, obviously. And I know that they're regretting that 20-point blowout or point lead that they blew. They were up 20, and then the Mercury came back. So, and they sent them on that high confidence boost back home. So now they got the crowd too. I don't know. It's a little rough for me. It's not looking good.
Yeah, they got to go into game 4 without their coach.
And their MVP candidate.
Yeah, without Queen Fee.
Ooh.
Get well soon. I just going to have a lot of time to get well. Because I think the Mercury going to send them packing.
I do too. And
it's unfortunate.
I don't think that they can do it without her. And it's just too much of an adjustment to lose your MVP candidate and your coach going into an elimination game.
Yeah.
Away.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So we'll see. I don't know. Coach Cheryl Reeve was ejected from the game 3, after receiving her second tech, and then she was suspended from the next one, so the one today, because of a comment she made about officiating on top of her approaching, screaming at the refs mid-game after she felt a call was not made that caused Visa to potentially, as she said, fracture her ankle.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a bit torn about the ruling on suspending her. Like, I get it. Like, you gotta always show respect towards the officials. And then it doesn't help that the play in which she went off, it actually was clean. The contact after was incidental.
I think it was just like the tip of the iceberg because we watched it, or I watched it in the car ride home from the airport. I think it was tip of the iceberg moment where her arm and her shoulder was like almost taken out and they didn't call that. And there was like a couple more calls before that they didn't call. And then that one ended up being clean, not a foul as they ruled, but ended up hurting her significantly where she was in tears and helped off the court and back.
Yeah, I think, and that's why I was conflicted with the decision to suspend her, because you just put the Lynx at a serious disadvantage not having the star player and their coach. I'm not sure what fines have been like for similar offenses in the past, but I think maybe given where we are in the season, a fine might have been better suited for competitiveness than a 1-game suspension. So yeah, it's I think the Lynx are going fishing But yeah,
It's a really tough situation. The quote that Cheryl Reeve said was the one that I guess caused and stirred the pot a little bit was, "I want to call for a change of leadership at the league level when it comes to officiating. The crew that we had tonight, for the leadership to deem those 3 people semifinal playoff worthy is effing malpractice."
Yeah, she also brought up how she also, like most
I
coaches
love a coach
do,
that ride for her team. Though.
Yeah, but she also brought up like, oh, you know, one of the best players in the league didn't shoot any free throws, which is always like, you always got to dive deeper than that. Yeah, like,
yeah.
So I looked at her shot chart, right? She had 6 shots in the restricted area. Mm-hmm. She went 3 of 6. Now, I don't know if, because I didn't see the whole game, I don't know if she got hit on some of those or not. But, you know, if you shoot 6 times in there, you made 3 of them. I don't know how many free throws we were expecting off of that. You also can draw fouls, you know, further away from the basket as well. So, like,
yeah, I had to look up where she was scoring from.
Yeah, so, like, I looked at the shot chart, and, yeah, it was, like, 6 inside the key, a couple off the block, and then some mid-range. So it wasn't like she drove the ball 20 times to the basket. Right? So, you know, sure, she had 0 free throws. Maybe she should have had 4. Right? Like, yeah. I'm like, it's not like she should have had 10. Like, Satu had 11. But Satu also, she's kind of, her and Alyssa Thomas, they play bully ball. Like, they're going to drive it into your chest, throw forearms. They probably, to Cheryl's defense, probably should be some offensive fouls.
Yeah, I was going to say some of those did look like it. And I also want to say that there has been a lot of complaints across the league in general on WNBA officiating, like Becky Hammond, Aces.
Yeah.
Also voiced her issues. Talking about inconsistencies in that Mercury game, the Mercury had double the number of free throw attempts, 22 to 11. And like we said, Nafisa had 0. They missed not 1 but 2 instances where Stephanie White of the Fever was trying to call a timeout to challenge a play.
Yeah.
And she was jumping up and down and screaming, and they missed that. They have missed some very bad and very obvious out of bounds calls that don't need slow-mo and 12 replays to see. You know, they've missed that hook, that chicken arm that Aaliyah Boston does. That
when Asia had to throw.
Yeah, that was one of them. I've watched her all season, and she does that very often. Yeah. That's been a thing.
It's like do your homework going into the game and what to look for.
And some of that actually can be very detrimental to somebody's shoulder. So I get what she's saying. It sucks that the play that she's specifically talking about was clean. But I also just wonder, what is the best way to communicate the concerns that you have with officiating when you're on the court and they're not going to listen to you? You say it, you know, later, and then you get suspended or fined. So when do they get to do something? Because, like she said, it does cause for injury when people are getting away with things. That we see that across all levels of basketball, and then it also causes fights.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things officials can do is communicate with coaches. So Cheryl said that whenever she would question refs about the calls, you know, she would get the answer, oh, that wasn't my call, and things like that, like the deflection.
Right.
When I was coaching, I always respected officials that would tell me what they saw or why they called it. And, you know, I would have to be mindful of the way I approach them as well. You know, I can't come up to them, what the F was that? Like, that doesn't go over well. But I can be like,
I had to when one of them almost called you a little boy.
Not almost, he did.
Yeah, that was.
But
shout out Eric, who calmed me down and sat me down.
Yeah. But like, just approaching them, being like, you know, what did you see there? Like, how come that wasn't a foul versus this? And then, of course, sometimes you gotta, you know, lose it. You get those strategic texts. Which used to be,
you and Coach Dev are always good at that.
Yeah, I love that because everybody think you're Superman, and then I look at the boys, I'm like, no, I'm actually good. I'm good.
It's faking.
Yeah,
we just broke the clipboard just for fun.
Yeah. Dang, R.I.P. But so that was one part of it, and then I think the last thing I'll say about the officiating, I guess last 2 things, and this goes back to, I can't remember who I was listening to earlier in the year, but they were talking about how a lot of WNBA officials, because they make less than NBA officials. Yeah. They also ref like college and other leagues. And so the rules there's asymmetry between the rules, right?
That is a really good point.
Also, like, there's different points of emphasis, so they're also adapting to the WNBA game. And I also think that and this was like a WNBA player talking about this too, but they also were talking about how, like, there could be more training for refs to kind of help with the officiating. But I think a big part of it is, kind of switching this stuff. And, that's why over in Europe, where it's kind of like the same rules all throughout your life,
it's a little bit more. That's the thing. A lot of people are saying it's so inconsistent. And it's like so inconsistent between games to the point where it's detrimental to potentially a team winning or losing a game.
Yeah, and then Cheryl also brought up, she was insinuating that the W wants a very physical, violent game almost. And I don't know if that's the case. I know a lot of people complain about the NBA kind of being softer.
I think will say the WNBA is not soft.
Yeah, it's a lot more physical. I do think you got to find a balance where you can let people play without it being too, I guess, violent in a sense.
Them girls are strong.
Yeah, I know. Like, I would not want to have to guard Satu or Alyssa Thomas. That's why I was telling you the other day. I was like, going into this series, I don't think I would ever want Fee matched up with Alyssa just because of the way she plays. Like, that's just too much that you got to constantly wall up because she's putting her shoulder into you every time she drives. And then you got to go down on the other end and score. Like, that's a lot on a player. But the last thing I'll say about officiating in basketball is, like, I feel like there's always going to be three things that exist in a basketball game. There's going to be made shots, there's going to be missed shots, and there's going to be people complaining about the refs depending on which side you're on.
Like, sometimes, you do foul, and sometimes. I will say, just by watching, I have seen some where I've just felt that it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last surprising thing, I think, in the W from this past week.
How could we forget this?
Was the firing of Sandy Brondello,
head coach of the New York Liberty. And
Brondello.
Yeah. Before we dive, I wanted to know more about her, what she's accomplished. So she started out this season with a franchise best, undefeated 9-0. The only reason that changed is because they had a wave of injuries.
Yeah.
And they ended the season with 27-17. Can't remember what they were ranked. 5th?
They were the 5th seed. Yeah, because they played the Mercury.
Who were 4. Yeah, she's the all-time winningest coach of that franchise. Period. And she was the first coach to take the Liberty to a championship. And this is also her second championship. She also won when she was head coach of the Mercury in 2014. That's her in a nutshell. So, I read an article that said that the GM said that the Liberty were toying with this, like, fork in the road, right? And then he said that, like, he was on innovation and evolution, and that's what they needed at the time. And it was so PR coded. It was so bad. And I was like, what does that mean? And then he was like, this is not a results-based organization. This is not about winning or not winning. It's about how do we position ourselves to be top of the league in a real sustainable way. I'm like, y'all won last year.
Yeah.
Y'all just won. Y'all are the champs right now. So, yes, you had some turmoil and some issues. I mean, even Breonna Stewart wasn't she playing on like a torn, sprained meniscus?
Yep. She had an electric knee brace on.
Yeah. Like, I don't agree with the reasoning that he has shared because innovation, like, she, again, is the most winningest coach.
Yeah,
of the franchise.
When I saw the firing, I was like, "There's something beneath the surface. Like, there has to be."
Yeah, because his response was awful.
Yeah, I saw the innovation thing, and this made me go look at some numbers as well that I'll share.
Please.
But it's always hard. Like, off the bat, they had Stewie missed time, or was injured.
Jonquel Jones was out.
JJ was out. Sabrina missed time. So, like, when you have that many misses,
that's a lot of adjustments for different people in very different roles that other people have to step up in. Yeah,
in a short season, it's hard to, like, one thing about the W is you got to have that consistency and continuity with your team.
Right.
To have a fighting chance. And they just didn't have that. Like, it's hard to, have so much up and down, people in and out, and then to go into the playoffs, like just getting all your people back, it's an uphill battle, especially in that first round where it's only best of 3.
And they were 5, so it's not like it wasn't as big of a gap in, like they played the 4 seed. It wasn't like as big of a gap as like 1 and 8.
Yeah, and like the other thing their GM mentioned was that the team's 3-point attempts and free throw rate dropped relative to the rest of the league, and the Liberty starting lineup ended the season ranked lower offensively among WNBA teams, despite averaging more points per possession than it did in 2024 while winning a championship. So I was like, okay, so shooting less threes, getting to the free throw line less, but we're averaging more points per possession, so we're scoring more. I'm like, is this like one of those situations where the GM, this is a little bit conspiracy maybe, but like GM is on the end where it's like, we need more threes to win, and we need to get to the basket.
3-point shooters on your team.
But then the coach is like, we're scoring more per possession, so like our offense is better. So like, I'm a little bit torn on what's going there. Sandy's 57. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes somewhere younger, someone that thinks more analytic. I don't know if there's like tension back with philosophies, which sometimes we see. But then I looked at some numbers. So I said last year, the Liberty attempted about 29 threes per game. This year, they were at 26.8 threes. So I'll call it 27 threes. So 2 less threes. The first place was the Valkyries. They had like 30 threes, I think, per game, roughly. So, like, that spread is super tight.
Yeah.
In 2024, the Liberty were scoring like 85.6 points per game. This year, they're scoring 84.4 points per game. The difference of 1.2 points.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what
is he talking about?
There has to be something else.
That Chat GPT response to that question.
Yeah, so there has to be something else. And absolutely. I feel like at the end of the last couple of years, they're always asking, like, is Sandy the right coach for this team? Like,
they said that was the thing, and then the winning of a championship, getting a ring. Was that their first ring ever?
I'm not sure how many the Liberty have.
All I know is they just got a ring, and that quote unquote saved her and let her get another year. So I'm like, that's not the best mindset to go into a brand new season with either, because y'all just like plotting on her downfall. Wonder what would have happened if they would have been a contender. I don't know.
Yeah, that was their first, which is surprising.
I don't know. We'll see.
But yeah, shifting gears to the NBA with the season approaching.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of interesting teams to watch out for this year. You got the Lakers because you got Luka out there doing his thing. And you got people like Ant-Man, who everyone's been waiting to get over the hump. You have a lot of young superstars. There's a lot of young talent in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
Wemby. Yep. People are worried about, I've been seeing a lot of mixed things out of my home city of Philadelphia with, Embiid looking good one day. Then the next day they're talking about, they don't know when he'll be on the court.
Hey, Philly, I have one request. Can you just be honest for 5 minutes of the state of your players? Because the back and forth is what makes it worse and what makes me like y'all less.
Damn, that was blunt.
Sorry, I just can't. Y'all are not honest. Because I respect Embiid for playing through every injury he's gotten to the point where he's playing on torn, broken, ripped ligaments, joints.
Missing knees.
Fractures in the face. Like, I get it, but can we just stop with the up and down? Just be honest, say what it is, and keep it pushing.
What it is, yo.
Makes it a little bit easier to be a fan.
So, question for you.
Okay.
Who do you think's like your player to watch this upcoming season?
I think Luka is going to be somebody to watch this year.
Why is that?
So, a few things. So he has gotten in the best shape of his that we've ever seen him in the offseason. Leaner, taking care of himself better. He's thriving right now in Eurobasket. And he's the fourth ever get a triple-double over there. And people are like, oh, okay, that's not that hard. But it is hard because, remember, the FIBA tournament rules are a little bit different. which makes it harder, which is why he's the fourth person to ever do it.
Yeah, and their game's a lot more physical over there,
A
too.
lot more physical. I also think just his mindset is a little bit different. Returning back, excited for training camp. He had a lot of the people at the Lakers organization actually go watch him play overseas, like Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss, the team's director of player performance and health, went over there. Others flew in to watch him, and they all confirmed that he seems more clear. He has more clarity about where he wants to go. He's a lot more focused. He has like this aura about him where he's a little bit more at peace. He doesn't have this heavy thing weighing on him from that crazy trade that happened that shocked us all. He kind of closed a chapter on that. History, 38.2% for three, averaging 33.9 points per game. He just is giving. He's going to be somebody to watch this year for a reason that he's going to create.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what Skinny Luka does. I think they're going to mission. I think, of course, LeBron's clock is running down. He would love to get to 5 rings, I'm sure, to tie Kobe. And I'm sure Luka wants to get his first one. And, it'll be interesting to see what those guys can do. Still feel like they're missing some pieces.
I agree. At least they got a big now. I knew you were going to laugh at that.
because I was trying to think. I was like, who did they bring in? And then you said it, and I was like, oh, yeah, they brought in the man I don't have a lot of faith in because he couldn't figure out how to get to a game in a snowstorm. But,
What?
Remember last year, I think when he was in Portland, there was so the roads were too icy to get there. And I'm like, all right, if the roads are icy, right? If I knew the roads were icy and it was dangerous, I would have left super early just so I could drive super slow there. Also, I'm sure the people in Portland, they would have been out there shoveling roads for you to get to that game.
I'm also just
this man just didn't want to play.
A lot of other people were at that game.
Yeah, I'm like, the whole city out.
I know, everybody else made it.
And I get it can be a little bit different in the burbs. I get that. But I also feel like, I don't know. I feel like it snows quite a bit in Portland. I feel like it's not when it snows in Atlanta and the city panics.
Right.
I feel like y'all prepared for this.
Right.
So yeah, I'm man. And also like, when he's in Phoenix, he wasn't coming through in playoff times, but maybe LeBron can inspire this man. We'll see.
So who are you looking at?
All right. So the person I'm looking at to take a jump this year, and hopefully they come back healthy. I think they will because this man, he's been in his bag this summer. I guess getting his mind right with the monks and whatnot. But it's Wemby. I think Wemby, this will be his 3rd season. He only played like half the year last year. But I think
the blood clot situation.
Yeah, he'll have I feel like he can play smarter basketball. Like there's times last year where I felt like he would settle and shoot threes. And I'm like, bro, you're like 9 feet tall. You settle and like, sure, take a couple threes here and there. Mm-hmm. But like, you don't need to like take the 3 when it's like a pick and pop action, like put pressure on the defense. Don't just come down and pull unless like you really like heat checking it.
Hot, yeah.
But I looked at some numbers, right? So last season, Wemby averaged about 8.8 2-point attempts, 9.9 threes, and he only averaged like 4 free throws per game, which I thought was surprising as hell. Like
that's really bad.
Like 4? Like that's crazy, right? So look, let me give you some more numbers. So
go to the basket.
Yeah, on 2-point field goals, he shot about 59% from the floor.
Okay.
From 3, he shot about 35% from the floor. And at the free throw line, he shot about 84%. So this yields to about 10 points on 2s, 10 points on 3s, 3 points at the free throw line, and he averaged like 24.2 points per game, right?
Okay.
So I think he can play a little bit smarter this year, take more 2s. And if, you follow the page, you probably have seen my videos on, efficient basketball and what analytics tell you to do.
Because 3s are more points.
Yeah, and like my outlier case is usually like Chris Paul, right? He usually shoots like if you can shoot over 50% on 2s, then sometimes in that case it actually makes more sense for you to shoot more 2s than it is 3s.
Like a Courtney Williams situation.
Yeah, so like he 35% from 3. He's 9 feet tall and he's able to shoot almost 60% on 2-point field goals. So I was like, let's just shift it, right? If he even shoots 4 less threes, make those 4 more twos, then like I would have to really expand these out over a certain number of games. But that takes him from like 24.2 points per game to like 24.7. So like as that ratio shifts, he also will probably get to the free throw line a little bit more, going to the basket. I think this year you'll see Wemby shoot more 2-point field goals and score more around the rim than shooting more threes than twos. Because for a guy like him, based on his shooting percentages, it just doesn't make sense for him to shoot, more threes than twos.
Knowing your role and knowing what's best for you specifically is big in basketball.
Yeah, so hopefully the coaches...
And then numbers don't lie.
Yeah, hopefully the coaches put him in the right spots to get easier looks around the rim. But there's not too many people.
Throw that thing up. Yeah, what are we talking about? This man is 7'5".
Yeah, hopefully, Dylan Harper can be the point guard that everyone believes in. I don't. CP3 isn't there anymore, so I don't know who's going to be willing to throw him lobs and set him up. But hopefully they figure it out. But I think Wemby can take a jump just by playing smarter basketball.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Save that clip. We'll talk to y'all in a couple months about that. We'll come back to that.
But before we get out of here, make sure y'all shop the merch.
Yes, everything will be linked down below. If you love the game merch. Hoodies, t-shirts, crew necks, hats, beanies.
Yeah. Till next time, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. And I think you'll be able to find the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts pretty soon.
Okay. Hey, link below.
And by pretty soon, I mean probably this week.
Or you follow us on Instagram. No Stopping Kev. Mostly. And then the Devin Diaries if you want a little bit extra.
Yep. Until next time. Peace.
Bye.